It offers a deeper analysis from different sources, and it gives a space, I think, for people's voices to be heard.
When women still make just 77 cents on every dollar that men make, Black and Latina women making even less, that doesn't just hurt women, it hurts families who find themselves with less income and have to work even harder just to get by.
This presidential election, the political action committees of 6 major women's organizations announced their endorsement of Barack Obama for president. The feminist majority stepped this effort up with the Feminists for Obama campaign. Many of these organizations have formerly endorsed Hillary Clinton. According to Gallup polls, Clinton was 9 points ahead of Obama among women voters before dropping out. After his nomination, polls showed that women favored Obama by 10 points to McCain. The margin shrank once McCain added Palin to his ticket. Now that Palin's stand on key issues affecting women is clear, Obama is once again at a lead. Most recent polls indicate a 15-point gain of Obama over McCain among women voters. This gender difference is proving to be significant. To analyze these shifts, the Real News senior journalist Sharmini Perez spoke to Katherine Spillar of the Feminist Majority Political Action Committee.
Kathy, today I want to unpack with you what the McCain-Palin ticket will mean for ordinary women in this country. What is your take on this?
Well, first, you're absolutely right. This is a historic, really watershed election in many, many ways, and women's votes will be the decisive factor in the outcome of this election. More women than men are registered to vote, and more women will be voting in this election year. And it's very clear that the selection of Sarah Palin for the Republican ticket was a naked grab for women's votes, an attempt to build on the momentum that we saw during the primary season with Hillary Clinton's historic run. And it shows that even the right-wing conservative Republican Party understands the importance of women's votes. But I don't think that women will be fooled. Sarah Palin's outspoken positions on key issues that are of fundamental importance to women and to women's lives, I think will work against her. And certainly John McCain's record of voting every single time against women's equality and women's rights and opportunities for women, I think will come back to haunt this ticket. For example, Sarah Palin and John McCain, very opposed to women's access to legal abortion and to birth control. In fact, Sarah Palin is opposed to abortion in all cases, even in cases of rape or incest or the health of a woman. You can't be more extreme. John McCain, who has voted every time in Congress to oppose women's rights. He voted against the Violence Against Women Act. He voted against access to contraception through insurance coverage of health care plans, even when he was voting to include Viagra in insurance coverage. He has voted against a law that right now is making its way through Congress to restore the strong anti-discrimination laws against women with respect to equal pay in the workplace. So for them to think that they can simply put a woman on the ticket and that that's going to somehow attract women's votes, or those women who were so strongly supportive of Hillary Clinton and everything she stood for, I think is a mistake on their part. If this ticket was to be elected with Sarah Palin as the vice president, I think we would be in a struggle just to maintain the progress that women have made in this country over the last 40 years. We could see Roe versus Wade, the 1973 decision that said that women have a right to access safe abortion in this country and birth control. We could see that reversed, which means that all across the country, state legislatures would now be voting on whether or not women had the right to access reproductive health care. There is so much at stake in this election for women and for girls, and that I think the two different campaigns, the campaign of John McCain and the campaign of Barack Obama, I think give us very clear and distinct contrasts in what the future progress for women and girls would be under the next president. We've lost some key laws under the current inerrant Supreme Court that guaranteed the enforcement of anti-discrimination laws. We're trying to regain those now in Congress. It's called the Lilly Ledbetter Act. And McCain's voted against it and is outspoken against it.
Known as the Lilly Ledbetter Fair Pay Act, the legislation aims to put into law what has been interpreted as equal pay for equal work, and has been threatened by Republican opposition, followed by a potential veto from President George W. Bush. The bill aligned the House of Representatives and Senate along strong party lines. It was supported by Barack Obama, while John McCain abstained. The famous Lilly Ledbetter versus Goodyear tire case was the motivation for the act. An August article in the New York Times described it as an ideologically driven decision, one that tossed aside precedent and logic. After the Supreme Court decision, Lilly Ledbetter addressed the Committee on Education and Labor, explaining her case.
Just before I retired, I found out that while I was earning about $3,700 per month, all the men were earning $4,300 to $5,200 per month. This happened because time and again, I got smaller raises than the men, and over the years, those little differences added up and multiplied. At the trial, the jury found that Goodyear had discriminated against me in violation of Title VII. The jury awarded me more than $3 million in back pay and punitive damages, but the law required the court to reduce my award to $360,000. The Supreme Court took it all away. They said I should have complained every time I got a smaller raise than the men, even if I didn't know what the men were getting paid, and even if I had no way to prove the decision was discrimination. They said that once 180 days passes after the pay decision is made, the worker is stuck with unequal pay for the rest of her career, and that there is nothing illegal about that under Title VII. According to the Supreme Court, if you don't figure things out right away, the company can treat you like a second-class citizen for the rest of your career, and that's not right.
While campaigning in Rochester, Michigan, Senator John McCain was questioned about his stand on the Lilly Ledbetter Fair Pay Act.
I was wondering, Senator McCain, why you had the opportunity to vote to give equal rights to women, equal pay. Okay. I was wondering why you didn't show up to vote, and you said that if you did, you wouldn't support it.
I believe that it was a correct decision of the United States Supreme Court, and I don't believe that this would do anything to help the rights of women except maybe help trial lawyers and others in that profession, and that's my view.
This is the sort of thing we can build right now without anyone else's permission from the government or from the business community. It's the power's in our hands.
If we're not going to sleepwalk into more wars and into environmental disaster, we think we need to start with a television news network that won't bow to pressure and has the courage to seek facts. And that means independent economics. And that's why we need you.
Real hope means facing a complex reality. Your tax-deductible donation makes it possible. Please contribute. Visit therealnews.com.